Bones and All, a 2022 romantic horror film directed by Luca Guadagnino from a screenplay by David Kaganovich, based on the 2015 novel Bones and All by Camille DeAngelis, set in the late 1980s. The film stars Taylor Russell and Timothée Chalamet as a pair of young cannibals who develop feelings for each other on a road trip across the United States. The movie also stars Michael Stolberg, David Gordon Green, Andre Holland, and Mark Rylance in a film that was brought to the mission by our very special guest, comic book artist Eric Battle. As we kick off the summer of comics. Eric, what have you to say of Bones and All?
Again, I really enjoyed it. I've watched it multiple times, but that it was a horror romance. It caught me off guard because it's very rare that you find anything that mixes the two.
Very much.
Very, very well.
Yeah, it's very rare that you find ones that mix, and you just said it, like that successfully blend them, right? Where you could go in this film and appreciate the romance of it, as well as be disturbed by the horror, because I guess ostensibly this lives in the land of horror because of the subject title, and there are some disturbing images in the film, but it probably is nothing more graphic than you would see on The Walking Dead as far as that goes. But I think the first thing that struck me about this film was the Taylor Russell as and kind of like the lead role, I guess, of a sort of I'm drawing a blank on the character's name.
Marin. Karen with an M.
Marin. The first time I saw her, she played Judy in Netflix Lost in Space. Which I loved. I absolutely loved that series.
Absolutely ridiculously better than it had to be.
Had any right to be. And she was phenomenal.
She was.
And the second she appears on this screen in this film, I'm like, okay, I'm here. And then they introduce her father, played by Andre Holland, who I contend has, at least to my eyes, not given a performance that I have not enjoyed yet.
No.
Every time I see that, man, he is the welcome on screen. So I am there, right there, just for their relationship and the complication of all that. And because I said it at the top of the show, this is a romance, it's a horror, but it also is a bit of a coming of age story, because she is dealing with the fact that she is a cannibal. This is not something that's brought on by some radioactivity that's living by her house or anything like that. This is who she is.
Right. For clarification, she has to eat. They call them eaters, capital E. She has to eat people.
Right. And you're saying they call them because there are
it's a community, not a community.
Not community, but there are people that this is what they are.
Right.
This is how they are. This is what they are, how they were born. From birth. And you learn in the movie, it dissects, like there's this history, there's a little bit almost of like a mythology.
Yeah, just enough.
Just enough that you learn, just to feed you. It's really, really beautiful world building. That is done in this movie. Go ahead.
Oh, I loved everything about this film. Like this was an absolute utter delight for me. I think top to bottom, soup to nuts, every aspect of this production was amazing. I thought the script, you're talking about the world building, but just the script was amazing. This cast is immaculate, absolutely immaculate. Every single person in this cast, like you talk about Taylor Russell, who obviously is the lead. I have to say, the only, I know who Timothée Chalamet is.
Yeah, you're
but
a
I
Dune
think
guy.
the only work I've seen him in is Dune.
Oh, really?
But I know he's worked. I know he's worked.
Yeah.
But I understood it today. Now I get the Timothée Chalamet thing. You mentioned Andre Holland, who, as you said, is just remarkable in the fairly short amount of time he's on screen. Chloe Sevigny plays her mother in one scene and is amazing. We mentioned that there are other eaters that they run into. The main one played by Mark Rylance, who plays Sully, who, once again, amazing. There's one scene with two other eaters.
Michael
Stahlberg and Jake Horowitz. Again, Jake Horowitz, I think, was the guy at the carnival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about, and I do want to get their names because, again, everyone was excellent. Oh, David Gordon Green.
Okay.
Excellent. But I think what impressed me the most was the direction.
Yeah.
This Luca
Guadagnino,
and I do apologize if I mispronounce his name. I thought the tone that he established in this film was remarkable.
Right from the top.
From the scene to scene, she goes to a slumber party.
Oh my God.
She meets another eater. They have the two eaters they meet. I mean, the scene.
Wait, because you kind of ran that. She goes to a slumber party.
Well, I almost don't want to ruin it. I mean, no, because it really is.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
The tone of this film is amazing. It's. I know you said you like horror movies, Eric, and I know you said, but I almost don't want to call this horror. It really is almost suspense. Yeah. But along those lines, I mean, obviously it kind of crosses over in horror.
It's horror.
But the biggest compliment I can give this film, it reminds me of two of my absolute favorite horror movies, supernatural movies of all time. Let the Right One In and Near Dark. Where, again, as much as it's horror, as much as they're using the conceit of the cannibal, it is really just almost a mediation on the unease that you feel with a stranger.
Exactly.
And with the unknown. And yeah, I cannot recommend this. I mean, I know I'm jumping the gun, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and how that embracing of the of who you are, or in that discovery that she takes with Timothée Chalamet's character.
Yeah,
where they're both discovering things about one another, which leads them closer together.
Right.
Which is how it sounds corny, but that's what love is.
Right.
That's exactly what it is, and it's beautifully displayed on this movie, in this film. I agree with you with everything about this film, and I'm curious if you felt this, Eric, because I know that you brought this up. I know how high the high regard that you give for this film. My one knock on the film, and I'll respect your not wanting to give some stuff away. It is still a fairly new film, 2022, and it is a film that rewards the less you know going in. Right. You know that they're cannibals, so you know what to look for.
Reward a rewatch, as Eric said.
Right.
Yeah.
But my one knock on this film is that I feel that Marin's story, there's a point where the film, it ties her, she has a full arc, right? But there are times, I feel that the movie at times maybe rushes to the end of her arc, so that so much of the rest of the film is about Timothée Chalamet's character, his world, his arc, continuing to the detriment of her story. And I felt that, especially because, one, she is our lens into this world from the very beginning of the movie.
Right.
We're introduced to her story with her father, which Andre Holland, not long in this movie, but a definitive presence that is felt and that is flashbacked and noted throughout the rest of the film. I feel like that arc kind of gets a little bit of a short rift in its tying up of its bow. And because Timothée Chalamet, through no fault of his own, and to be fair, his star was already on the rise in 2022.
Sure.
Because he had already had Dune. Sure. He is a producer on this film.
Yeah.
So he's one of the reasons why it gets made. He comes in, and you're right. You see it.
Right.
You see what we experienced from a young Leonardo DiCaprio, with Timothée Chalamet in this movie.
That's a really good reference.
This is the next one.
This is the one, right?
This is the next one.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
And all right, bruh, you've earned it. And I feel that light
kind of
overshines her story. I wonder if you felt that as well.
Well, yeah, like you, I hadn't before the Dune movies. I hadn't seen much of him, of his, yeah, I can see that. I can see that a little bit. But I was still satisfied with how, her, how her story is. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm satisfied with the way that it ends. I just felt that her story ends, and then there is still a considerable amount more of the movie. So it's like now it really is about, I guess to a degree, it is about them, but there's a lot of him in that.
Well, I think part of your feel is, frankly, Timothée Chalamet just outshining the rest of the cast, and this is no knock to Russell, because
not at all,
because she's a great actress, but as you said, like you really do get the pop with Timothée Chalamet. But I guess the way I interpret it, like I had these sort of two themes with these eaters. Abandonment. Okay. Because this is something that just kept coming up, like you know, both of her parents abandoned her. Yeah. Even Sully is like an ongoing thing with Sully, like you just left me there, and abandonment, and then B, trying to forge a relationship with other people when you're basically a monster.
Yeah.
And I guess what my read with her arc was that at one point she runs off from Timothée Chalamet's character, but then she comes back, which is her kind of breaking this cycle of people abandoning each other. And then there's that beautiful almost montage towards the end where they've kind of carved out a little life. So now they have a relationship. So while I do agree that just because of the dynamic of the two actors, you feel like it's Timothée Chalamet's story, I still felt like it was her story, since we started with her. And frankly, we end with her.
We do.
So
we do. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. All right. I could be wrong. I do want to come back to the Sully character, Mark Rylance.
Oh my God, so good.
So good, so good. What I liked about that character, who is the antagonist of the film,
Yeah, sure.
right? But you say it like that because you kind of feel for him a little bit.
Look,
You kind of feel, because the whole idea of how these eaters, which I loved, can smell each other.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And like in their sensing of each other from wild distances.
right. The old, yeah,
And the strangeness that the loneliness that life creates for
Yeah.
each of them,
Yeah.
then starts to become like almost like an affect on all of them.
right.
You know, like we don't see it with Marin because we're still very early on in her,
Right, in her journey.
In her journey, but you can see it starting to come in Timothée Chalamet's character.
Right, his character Lee
Lee.
is already, yeah.
Right. But Mark Ryland's character, it's all the way there. When he meets Mark Stahlberg, he's all the way there.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Stahlberg, excuse me. But how Sully is reaching out for some type of companionship.
Right.
You can feel for him.
Right. It's almost like they're almost literally feral. Because
That's the word.
because they've you get the sense that they all either run away or are cast out. And they're just by themselves. And as you said, even when we first meet Timothée Chalamet's character Lee, he's not quite right.
Yeah.
Like he's, as you said, Sully is the ghost of Christmas yet to come for him if he keeps going this way. And again, I love this sort of examination of the power of relationships. And I mean, even that wonderful first scene where you have that wonderful reversal where she goes to this sleepover and it's her. And, we haven't talked about this as a black movie, but me, I'm sitting and the white girls are telling her to sneak out her house. And
I know.
She's the only black girl at the sleepover. And, I was getting my get out on. Like I was sitting going, yeah, you about to learn something today. Go ahead to that sleepover. You about to learn something. Little did I know she was the one who was the teacher.
She's the teacher in that one.
Yeah. But
Absolutely.
even that, she was reaching out.
Right.
She reaching out for friendship, and these people were reaching out to her.
Yeah. And in that she loses herself.
Right.
And that's basically what happens.
Much like her friend loses a finger. I know. You set me up.
Well, did she lose her stuff, or did she find, because she found out who she really was? So, and to me, it seemed like she kind of found herself, because it was like not realizing, really, that was the first time when she really realized what she was.
Oh, realizing that this is
Right.
something that she can't help.
Yeah.
Because it only happened a few times.
Right. I mean, it happened long enough that her dad was locking her in the room.
Well, that's true. True that.
Again, like there's a version of this movie, and I have to say, I immediately said, oh, this is a riff on Let the Right One In. And then when her father leaves, again, it was just such a pleasant, rewarding experience where I said, oh, we're somewhere new. Because, there's a version of this film, a weaker version, but even the weaker version, like as I'm saying it, it was like, wow, I'd kind of like to see that, where Andre Holland plays her dad and they're going from town to town, staying in front of this thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where again, it's just like a play on Let the Right One In, but it's like it's Andre Holland and Taylor Russell. It's like, wow, that's probably pretty good, but
Yeah. Bones and All, the series, that's what it would be.
right.
The movie.
Right.
Is there a scene that you love this film, Eric? Is there a scene that you love or is very memorable for you?
Well, yeah, that slumber party. It's like, again, because it was so unexpected, and
Yes.
just the way it all unfolded, it was like, again, that's just a shocker.
Yeah, it does come out. It does come out of the blue because it sets you up. It sets you up for what you think. Oh, I don't know about y'all. I thought I knew it was going to happen,
Right.
and then I was like, I was you, E, because I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
I had to remind myself, oh, this movie is about cannibals.
Look,
Right.
again, scene to scene, what I love so much is I was on shaky ground. I was like I never knew where the film was going.
Mm-hmm.
I never quite knew. I think even with Sully, like there's this wonderful exchange where she, the subtext becomes the text, where she says, "I don't trust you, and whether I'm wrong or I'm right, this is the way it is." And when you see this relationship between the two of them, you're not quite sure where this is going.
Right.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Even with Timothée Chalamet's character Lee, until the very end, I wasn't sure what was going to happen between the two of them.
Oh, I was kind of, I felt them falling for one another.
I didn't want to drop my guard because by then I realized again, these eaters were not socialized. Like they did not play by the rules that the rest of us play by.
Yeah, I guess I hear you. I felt that once they go back to his hometown and she's there for that initial run-in with his sister, I felt there's like, I think what I'm sensing is happening is real.
Right.
Between them. I like it. Now, try not to cut through. All right, spoiler alert for this film. So if you don't want to know anything else about the film,
Go ahead and watch it. We're going to recommend it.
we
Go ahead
recommend
and
Bones
watch
and
it.
All.
Come back.
Go see it. Spoiler alert from here on. The ending of the film,
Yes.
okay, where they have it out with Sully.
Yes.
And Sully had revealed earlier on in the film that of all the people that he eats, he keeps, it looks like a lock of hair.
Yes.
And he ties them into this long, huge braid of hair.
Right. And then he doesn't understand why
People think
why Marin is uncomfortable with
him.
Don't you want to see my long braid of hair rope that I've been making?
Yes. As he stands there in his tighty whitey,
Right.
and his face in a war paint of blood.
Come on, Marin, get in the van. What could go wrong with you getting in the van with me? I'm a middle-aged man who eats people that has a long rope made out of hair. Come on, get in the van. Why are you so hesitant?
It's an adventure.
Right.
Choose your adventure.
Come on, Marin. Have I mentioned my rope made out of hair?
Have I mentioned that I've been following you
Right.
across the
yeah.
country?
Because I can smell you. I've been following you by smell. Come on, Marin, get in the van.
I saw your little boy toy drive
Right,
off
right.
not long ago.
Come on, get in the van.
Oh man.
I'm like, dude, read the room. Does come on, get in the van ever work under any circumstance?
Only on Scooby-Doo.
Right. Come on, get in the van. Go ahead.
Cut to the end
Yes.
where we learn that it looks like there has been an addition made to his
Yes.
braid.
Yes.
And the addition looks like it's a blonde lock.
Yes.
Blonde lock of hair. And I believe that we are to assume, because we already know that Sully has been following them.
Yeah, I mean, they say
all over the country.
Yeah, they say it.
And going to pretty much every spot that they go to.
Yeah.
That he followed them to where Lee's home was.
Right. Remember, we told y'all, go ahead, watch, come back. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
All right, go ahead.
And has killed Lee's sister.
Yes. And eaten her.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to, because it doesn't, the movie doesn't tell you definitively that.
No, I think at one point in the Hurly Burly, either Lee or Marin says Kayla. He got Kayla. Like, they say it.
Oh, maybe I missed that.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, because it's the Hurly Burly. Is a whole lot more. Going on in that end fight scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, cool. I just didn't see them like acknowledge it, so I wanted to make sure.
Right.
Like, that's kind of a little real ambiguous, but all right.
Yeah.
Cool. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, though. So, well, we've already recommended the film, but
yes,
let's go to Eric first.
Let's go to Eric
He
first.
brought this film
This
onto
is
the
what
mission.
you have brought.
Do you consider, Eric, Bones and All a black film?
I don't know that I would consider it a black film, but because of the lead actress, I was like, yeah, that's enough for me, yeah, that was enough for me. So,
okay, so you would land on that it's a black film.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm also going to land on it just because of the lead in Andre Holland. There's one moment, arguably two, but definitely one moment that I think was informed by race. At one point, Marin goes and visits her maternal grandmother because we find out that Marin is biracial, and her maternal grandmother is white, and the grandmother tells her that her parents, Andre Holland and Chloe Savania, met in college. And she says very quickly, her father and I were against the union, against them being together. And she doesn't say why, but I immediately said, it's just because Andre Holland was black. And then it kind of, it's like,
really
your daughter is a cannibal, but the brother is. That's what I said. Oh, your daughter eats people, but you upset about the black guy.
That's great.
And then when she's in the diner and the police go by and there's this beat where she's wondering whether or not she's on the police's radar. I thought maybe that could have informed it as well. Right. Although, in the film's defense, like the whole film is about this community staying under the radar. But, quite frankly, I think it would have been interesting, not necessarily better, but interesting if they would have leaned into it. Like I do think this sort of
lean into the race.
Yeah, like this conceit that these people are sort of nomadic and go from town to town, and they go to small town I think that works differently for a white man that looks like Timothée Chalamet and a black girl on her own. Like they're in Kentucky, they're in Iowa, they're in Montana. She's going to these small towns, and I kept waiting for something, and then I realized that they weren't going to address that aspect of it, and obviously it was enough on there to hold my attention. Yeah. So, but yeah, I consider it a black movie just because we get to talk about it on the show mission.
Yeah, I guess to Eric's point, and I guess you mentioned this too, Taylor Russell being the lead, and despite Timothée Chalamet's shine even at this moment in 2022, she is number one on the call sheet. So she is the lead of the film. So her being the lead, so boom, lands it as a black film, nonstop. I I do wish that there was a little bit more to the Andre Holland that dynamic, even if like, because you get some kind of like flashback flashes, even if some of those were maybe spelled out a little bit more. So, you know, not necessarily him having to be there in present day,
Right.
but even if some of those moments had.
Well, I love the conceit of them showing him when she plays the tape that he leaves.
Yes.
Like, I would have loved it if, you know, instead
If
of
that had continued.
right, instead of 2 days of shooting, they had done 4 days of shooting with him, and then just intercut these moments of him talking on the tape.
I would have liked that too.
Great. But I mean,
But that's a very
if Andre
small...
Holland is in it for an hour, you want him in there an hour and a half. If he's in there an hour and a half, you want him in there for 2 hours.
Right.
So, you know, it's never enough.
Yeah.
So
But at the end of the day, I definitely would still land on that it's a black film.
here's you go with the black film, and now I'll bring in another film. This would be a wonderful double feature with The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Because I will say this about the blackness. That is a very evocative image. That black girl with that blood all over her. Like I think, you know, going back to something like Near Dark or even The Lost Boys, like this image of the white male predator or Sinners. Like the white male predator with the bloody mouth is something that you see a lot. You don't see it as much with a black female character. So I thought that was very evocative. And once again, it reminded me of The Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that would be a good double feature.
Yeah.
With this. Yeah.
watch in the daytime.
I think you could watch this at night. I think you could watch this.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll watch this at night.
You'll
watch this in the daytime.
I'll watch it, and you can read the
And I'll be reading
you'll
my
read the
comic book.
comic.
I'll be sitting next to you reading the comic book.
And
I'll be like this.
watching in the daytime. With all the lights on and all the shades up.
No, in the sunroom.
In the sunroom, that's right.
Oh, nice. All right, well,
So I guess we got to do it right.
what?
Eric, would you recommend Bones and All?
Absolutely. Without question.
There you go. We already did it.
I would absolutely recommend Bones and All. I mean, you know,
Dylan, did we not already recommend the movie?
I think we have to actually say it. We would indeed recommend this film very
We
much.
did say it.
Okay, all right.
You even said it before the spoiler.
I know. I like to, we ended same way. Nice and neat. Put the bow on it.
God. Eric.
Yes.
He's so polite. Yes. He's so polite.
Because he didn't run away when he was 8 because he was eating people. And he had to learn how to talk to people in the woods. Let me show you my rope made out of people's hair. It's like, dude.
Pull it.
Pull it. It's very strong. It won't tear.
It won't tear.
Then he goes in the kitchen and he's making the Cornish hens all. What was he doing with the Cornish hens? What was the deal with the Cornish hens, Lynn?
Garnish.
I was like, this is the creepiest.
Good stuff.
Thank you, Eric, for bringing us Bones and All. Thank you for joining us on the show, man.
It's been my pleasure. Again, thanks for having me.
Oh, man. Well, you're coming back in October.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
if everything is on point.
Right.
Don't come back in here with nothing to sell. But
No,
because we're here for promoting.
Right.
Everything should be ready by then.
All
right.
At least one of these. He's got like 8 things going on, man. Don't let the banners fool you. He's got 10 other things on his whiteboard that he can't talk about. But it's all good. Thank you so much, my brother. Really appreciate you stopping in.
Thank you
And
again.
how can the people get in touch with you and check in with Eric Battle?
Maybe like maybe Instagram, maybe, you know.
I'm in the streets.
I say, Eric, what is that?
I'm in the streets.
You don't get in touch with Eric Battle.
Eric Battle
Gets in touch with you.
Just stand still, ladies. I'll be right there.
It's like the A-team over here. If you can find him.
Again, like, you know, with social media, it's like I'll pop on like in the wee hours of the morning, but you know, it's like it's just all too distracting to me. So, you know,
it's all too distracting for me. Oh my God, Eric.
Oh my, really, Lane? Come on now.
I thought he had like a website, a Twitter, something. No,
he's just got trap doors in his house.
Just listen for me in the wind.
Just smell me.
Oh, no.
Is that fuck me?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, E, man.
Thank you.
If you want to get in touch with Eric, just go outside and burn a E on a piece of paper, I guess.
Hey, you know.
Say Eric 5 times in the
Right. Say Eric Battle 5 times in the mirror.
Oh, that's good.